There are lots of awful diseases out there, but the ones on this list are just a little bit more gruesome than most, ranging from a disease that turns your skin blue to a disease that literally eats away at the skin on your face. We count down the top 5 rarest and most horrific diseases.
Number 5.
Just imagine going through life giving off a powerful fishy odour constantly. Unfortunately for some, this is a reality. Fish odour syndrome emits a powerful fishy stench whenever the person infected talks, yawns, sweats or pees. It's a metabolic disorder that is far more common in men. It basically affects your body's production of an enzyme called FMO3. This means that the body loses its ability to convert TMA in food to TMAO and instead emits it via sweat or your pee, etc. Those affected are advised against eating foods such as milk, soy products, eggs, liver, kidney, peas, peanuts, vegetables and seafood. What makes this disease even worse is that people who are affected with fish odour syndrome have it for life, as there is no known cure.
Number 4.
Hypertrichosis, otherwise known as werewolf syndrome. It's called werewolf syndrome because sufferers look like werewolves, but without the sharp teeth and claws. It's caused by an overproduction of hair all over the body, sometimes totally covering the face. Some people are affected head to toe, while some only experience abnormal hair growth on isolated parts of their body. Only a few hundred people in the world have been born with werewolf syndrome, and some of them were mostly found working in carnival sideshows. There is a large family in Mexico that all suffer from werewolf syndrome. 2 of the brothers were offered a part in the series X-Files, but refused the offer.
Number 3.
In the 1960s, a family were discovered living in the hills of Kentucky. This family were a little different to your average family, mainly because their skin was totally blue. Apart from the bright blue skin, they were totally normal. They had no serious illnesses or defects, and most lived way past 80. They were named the Blue Fogatis. The reason for their blue skin baffled professionals for a long time, until it was discovered they suffered from a rare condition called MET-H, which vastly reduces the body's ability to move oxygen through the bloodstream. MET-H under the right conditions will produce blue-skinned people, but it is incredibly rare. Having near on a whole family with blue skin was only produced because of generations of interbreeding with another nearby family, because they lived in such isolation. The years of interbreeding produced the MET-H gene much more frequently, until it made a relatively pure gene pool.
Number 2.
Majura foot is a very extreme fungal infection to the foot, and when I say extreme, you can clearly see I'm not exaggerating. The infection is caught mostly when working on farms. Spores spread from the soil to open cuts on your feet, where they quietly take root. They don't cause any pain, they just give off milky discharge for around a year. Then, out of nowhere, huge giant pus-filled swellings appear all the way down to the bone. There's no vaccine or real cure for the disease, leaving the treatment to antifungals or, if they don't work, amputation.
Number 1.
Cancrum oris, commonly called noma. It's gangrene to the face. It eats away at the tissue around the jaws and kills more than 80% of people who get infected with it. Noma starts off as a little ulcer on the gums. That seemingly harmless ulcer quickly spreads to the lips and cheeks. Within just a few days, the gangrene will eat through flesh and muscle, eventually scabbing over. The scab falls off, leaving a huge hole in the face. It's an infection that can be contracted by drinking contaminated water or living near farm animals. People who are malnourished or have poor dental hygiene are more likely to catch it. And that brings my list of the top 5 rarest and most horrific diseases to an end. I jolly well hoped you liked it, and as always, thank you for watching.